Okay, I'm recording. Hey! Sorry, my hair's a little messed up. I just took the dogs around the block for a walk, and so it just is this. So hey kids, did anybody see anything cool this week? So I live streamed the eclipse on Monday. Many of you may have seen it. It was a wow. It was a wow is what it was. So I decided I was going to do a TMI today, and really the only thing that I feel like talking about is the eclipse, although we've kind of gone past it. We've eclipsed the eclipse. And obviously, if you want to see my immediate reaction to the eclipse, it's all on the live stream there. But I've had some more thoughts since then. So what surprised me the most, I think, about the eclipse was how quickly I became unbearable. Like, you always hear these people that have seen a total eclipse and they're always like, dude, no, if it's 99%, if you see 99% eclipse, if it's partial, it is not the same thing, dude. No, you gotta see the real thing. Because every time I've seen maybe 3 or 4, I've seen a few partial eclipses or annular eclipses before this one, and it's always kind of neat, though. The shadows change, the light changes, the quality of the light, that's always really interesting and everything. But then there's always that guy that when you say, yeah, that's how that eclipse is, pretty cool, have you ever seen a total one? It's not the same thing. I immediately became one of those people. My mom lives out in West Texas, and she saw, a pretty solid partial eclipse and was like, oh, it was so cool, and we were so excited, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, you didn't see it, Mom. You didn't see it. Immediate eclipse douchebag. So, a lot of people were talking about how emotional it made them. I saw people on the news that were like crying when they saw it and everything. I didn't feel that. Now, in fairness, I was running a live stream. I was on camera. I had a lot of things going on, and I kept getting distracted by stuff on the computer. And by the way, I want to apologize. I'll put the picture up here. I want to apologize for the fact that you guys had to see me make this face. This has been one of my goals in life, is to never be an old man that walks around with that face. Sometimes I'll be at the store or something, and I'll see some old guy just walking around like that, and it's just like, I don't want to be that guy. And for a moment there, I was that guy. But there was a big bright light on my face. Excuses, anyway. But no, I had, a lot of things going on. I was juggling balls while I was trying to watch this and everything. And there's a tiny part of me that kind of wishes that I hadn't live streamed it so I could just be in it and everything. It might have been that, or it might have just been that I didn't quite get that emotional about it. But I was definitely awed by it. The immediate thing that struck me was how big it was. That's the thing that got me. And so, like, we got some really cool shots, like close-up shots in the live stream of like the prominences and the solar flares and stuff like that. I was super excited that I'm still looking at it and being like, how did I get that from my backyard? That is insane. But those are cool. But what I wish we had gotten was a shot from like our human perspective, because I always see one of two things. I see either like a wide shot of like a field of people looking up at it, and it's just this teeny tiny dot in the sky, or you see this like really close up, obviously with a nice camera adjusted for exposure and everything, and you don't really see the corona around it. So I'm live streaming this. It was just about to happen. We knew we were right about there, and I was kind of turning away from the computer to focus on it. But then I was trying to adjust some things on the computer. Again, I wasn't that well prepared, and I suck at live streams anyway. But I remember I was looking at the computer, and I heard my wife off to the side kind of go like, oh, wow, or something, or she made some exclamation. And I was kind of like, kind of reacted to it. And then I turned around, and it was just there. And I literally was just like, whoa!
That's amazing.
Oh my God. I was blown away by how big it was. It just seemed huge in the sky. And it was just this perfect round circle with these things glowing off of it. Maybe because, and I talked about it in the live stream, we're in the middle of a solar maximum right now. So the corona and the everything around it is like hotter and bigger than it normally is. That might have been part of it. Or maybe that's just how they all look. I don't know. But it just blew me away how big it was. And there were some things that I was kind of keeping an eye out for. In the lead up to the eclipse, I knew I was going to be doing a live stream. I knew I was going to have to talk for like 3 hours about eclipse stuff. So I kind of listened to a lot of podcasts where people talking about eclipses. I watched a lot of videos and read articles and stuff. I was just trying to like bone up on it and everything. So there were a lot of things that I was looking for or expecting. The one that totally surprised me, that I thought would happen but didn't happen, well, two things that are sort of related. I didn't notice the temperature dropping that much. They always talk about how like the temperature drops 10 degrees or something like that. It just like turns into night. I didn't have that experience, but I live in North Texas, which is normally pretty humid, and it was a little extra humid on Monday because there was a storm system coming in, which we just got super lucky we were able to see. I got a detour on that for a second. It is an absolute miracle that we were actually able to see this thing, because they were predicting cloud cover the whole time, and I woke up that morning and we were setting up our equipment, and it was a whole thing. And there was this part of me that was like, guys, let's just forget about the live stream and just, hang out and drink some beers and watch it or something, because I really didn't think we'd catch anything. It was completely overcast. And I mean, like 30 minutes before totality, the clouds parted, like just enough to really see it. I know people south of here, like people in Austin, basically it was like way too overcast for them to really see much. So I guess there was that line of that front or whatever was just below us or whatever. Anyway, man, there was so much luck. I mean, the entire experience is a luck thing. Just the fact that we have that alignment of these celestial bodies that just happen to do that. I mean, it's a miracle that it happens anyway, and it was a double miracle that the clouds parted. And that was cool. But anyway, there was kind of a storm system blowing through or about to blow through, and because of that, it was super humid. And I didn't notice the temperature dropping that much, which kind of makes sense because, like, in Texas, when it's super humid, the shade doesn't really provide much relief. That's the thing that always gets me whenever I go to the Southwest or someplace where it's not very humid. You go into the shade and it gets cooler. That's amazing. How cool is that? Doesn't happen here. So I didn't notice the temperature dropping. The other thing that I was expecting and didn't catch was like a wind picking up. I had heard, and I was ready to like talk about this on the live stream because I thought this was a really cool idea, was that, when you have literally hundreds of square miles, that suddenly does not have the solar radiation hitting it anymore, that causes the temperature drop or an energy drop. And then because of thermodynamics, like hot air rushes in to fill the void and you get a little bit of a breeze. That the eclipse actually causes a breeze because of, that atmospheric thing. I thought that would be really cool. Didn't happen. And maybe it's because of the humidity thing and the temperature didn't really drop, and hence blah, 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 and all that. I don't know. Also, I was, in my backyard, and there doesn't really get a lot of breeze back there anyway. I did not get to have that experience, and I didn't get to have the temperature drop experience, which I was kind of hoping for. I was actually thinking it would be like a full sensory thing. I think that's what I was ready for. It was like, yes, visually very cool, but also I can feel it temperature-wise around me and everything. I was ready for that. And I didn't really get that. I was also curious about how animals react to the eclipse. I'd heard so many things about that. I'd heard about like birds like flying back to their trees and perching or nesting or whatever. I'd heard about dogs not, knowing what to do with themselves. I had both of my dogs in the backyard. I was watching them. They were just kind of laying there. They didn't seem to notice anything different. But again, it was a very different situation. If it was just a normal day, they may have been more receptive to it. But we had a whole bunch of people over. It was a whole thing. They were all excited. They were playing, and they were already kind of like overstimulated and whatnot. What I did catch, though, was that the crickets started chirping. That killed me, because I'm sitting there watching this thing, and all of a sudden I start hearing crickets chirping. I was like, that's wild. That's so cool. So then after it passed, again, I was doing a live stream, so I had to kind of like get back into live stream mode and everything. But I caught myself at one point. This was like 10 minutes after it was over. This is how I know I'm officially an eclipse douchebag now, because like literally 10 minutes after it was over, I was sitting there and my wife was on the steps, and I just kind of looked at her and she looked at me, and I was like, I want it to come back. I missed the eclipse. I want it to come back. Like 10 minutes later, I was already ready to see another one. I was already like dying to see another one 10 minutes later. So yeah, I might be one of these people traveling to another eclipse, because I remember like just standing there and being like, there is no way in hell that is going to be the only one of these I see in my lifetime. I have to see that again. That was insane. Another thing that has struck me about it since then, is the shared experience of it all. Because of course everybody around here saw it in one way or another, like I'm trying to think of something else that equates to this, but like everybody stopped what they were doing for like 5 minutes and went outside and experienced this thing. Everybody did. And so like everybody that I've seen since then, like that's what we're all talking about. Like, did you see that? Wasn't that wild? I saw this and we had that and I had this experience and I had that experience. It was this shared thing that was positive. Like there was nothing negative about it. It was this wonderful positive thing that we all experienced and we all got to talk about it. And the thing that I catch myself saying, like I went to the bank the other day, I had to go in for something and we were talking about it and I caught myself saying, I'm so glad we got to experience that. It just kind of came out like that. But I started thinking about it later. It wasn't that I didn't say I'm so glad I got to experience that. I was glad we got to experience that. It was this thing that we all got to have. And it was there, and it was all positive. How often do you get that? It's so rare. As rare, one might say, as an eclipse. And I know a lot of people get really spiritual about it and get, like I said, really emotional. That wasn't how I came out of it. And that's great. I mean, look, I'm not taking that away from anybody. I'm glad people have that experience and they got that emotional about it and everything. I didn't quite feel that. It wasn't like that for me. It was just this awe-inspiring thing. I mean, isn't that enough sometimes? But I'm glad I did the live stream. It was fun. It actually went a little bit smoother than I thought. Looking back, there's some things I would have done differently. Like we had this bright light on me because I was underneath a porch. Like all the equipment and stuff was underneath this porch and we were facing out into the yard. So it was like really bright behind me. So they needed a light on me so that I wouldn't be blown out. That's just camera stuff. And in the middle of it happening, I didn't think to turn out the light. And I guess nobody else did either. We all were just like in the moment, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. But I kind of, in hindsight, wish I had turned off the light because it really did become like nighttime and we had a really bright light out there. There were a lot of people on the live stream I saw in the chat and later in the comments that were like mad that I didn't turn off the light because they didn't get to experience the nighttime thing with me. And I mean, look, I'm over it. I hope you guys can get over it. Again, in hindsight, I would have turned off the light, but I don't think it really took away from me the experience that I had. I can't imagine why it would have taken away the experience from anybody watching, but people need something to complain about. But we got some really cool footage and I need to, do some things with that footage. I need to do it quickly before people like move on from the eclipse, but I might be putting together some stuff with the footage that we got. And I don't know about everywhere else, but specifically here, I mean, I know a lot of people on Facebook from around here. So it's just nothing but like circles on your Facebook page. It's like nothing but pictures of a circle in the sky. That and fake photos, of course, like fake ass clickbait stuff that's been sent out. There was this one, if I can find it, I'll put it up here. But there was this one that like somebody shared and they said it was from JWST, which is patently ridiculous. They would never in a million years point JWST at the sun because its equipment is so sensitive. It has this giant solar shield to protect it from the sun. There is no way they're going to point JWST at the sun. Not to mention, it's not on Earth and therefore could not experience the eclipse. So I've had to be that guy on Facebook with a few people because it's getting shared everywhere. But about this photo, the funny thing about it was I just assumed it was a Photoshop job. It was made up. It was an actual photo, surprisingly, because you can see the surface of the moon on it. It was an HDR thing, so they recorded it. They took the picture at different exposures and then, cropped it in there. But you could call it a composite, but HDR is like a type of photography. Anyway, so it was a real photo from 2017. That actually did blow my mind. I thought I was sure it was a Photoshop job, but it was not a photo from 2024, and it definitely wasn't a photo from JWST. And I keep seeing it being sent around through a fake JWST account. It's like the James Webb Space Telescope / NASA or something like that. It's a fake account posting this fake picture. Because of course it is. But one of my favorite things about it was going through, sorry for the noise, going through the comments on the live stream video. Because, most of the comments are really nice. People thanking me for doing this and commenting on what they saw and whatnot. And then I run across this comment here. I refuse to participate in anything the masses get convinced they need to be doing by the media. Happy others are easily influenced to look at the sky. Just not this guy. Oh my God. I hope you're a teenager. Look, if you're a teenager, I get it. You think everything's stupid. You think everything sucks, and everybody's an idiot. And there's all these people trying to manipulate you and convince you of things, and you're not gonna fall for it because you're an original man. I get it. I was one of those people too. I really valued being different. I leaned into weird. I thought everything was stupid. I hated authority. I remember I would walk into a room, and if everybody else was standing, I would sit. And if everybody else was sitting, I would stand. Because that was going to be me, man. So yeah, if this guy's a teenager, fine, you get a pass. If you're not a teenager, grow the up. The thing about being a reactionary contrarian who does the opposite of what everybody else does just on principle is that your actions are still controlled by those other people. You're just doing the opposite of what they're doing. You're still basing your decisions on what they're doing. So you're not the original free thinker you think you are. Everybody else shits in toilets. I'm going to shit on my bed. Ha! Take that, authority. Anyway, whoever this guy is, maybe you weren't even in the path of totality and you didn't miss anything anyway, but congratulations on missing out on an amazing celestial cosmic event that's only once in a lifetime because, hey, you're so cool. But if you're a teenager, that's fine. You'll grow out of it. Just, I would say, enjoy cringing at this really hard in about 10 years because you will. So outside of Eclipse stuff, the only other thing I wanted to talk about, I did want to just kind of let you guys know, in case you haven't already noticed, that things are going to be kind of slow on the main channel, probably for the next couple of months. You guys might have noticed that there wasn't a normal video that came out on Monday. The live stream was going to sort of replace that. It didn't quite replace it, but it was a fun thing. And next week's video is very different for this channel. It's me kind of just trying something. It was a little experiment that I was doing with AI and Photoshop, but then I talk about AI and I make it make a bigger point out of it, or I try to anyway. But yeah, the channel's been struggling a bit this year, and there were a lot of sort of structural changes in the team and everything that we did last year that have not really given the results that we were looking for. So I'm kind of stepping back just a little bit. I'm giving myself a little bit of space, a little bit of room to sort of retool everything. I'm kind of calling it a hard reset. I really want to start doing more different kind of things on the channel. Maybe help bring in a new audience and infuse a little life into it. But more so than anything, I want to feel more creative again. There's been a few really big projects that I've been really excited about doing for 2 years now, and I've just never been able to carve out the time to do it. And I've never set up things correctly in the channel to be able to sort of run without me. It's funny. I did a video a little while back here on TMI about why all these YouTubers seem to be quitting, that whole thing. And one of the things that I was talking about was finding the thing that you're good at and making sure that you bring in a team that handles all the other stuff so that you can focus on the thing that you're good at. And it's funny. That's exactly the situation that I've found myself in. I've been kind of farming out creative stuff to other people and handling all the admin stuff, which I'm terrible at and I don't enjoy. So I'm bringing in somebody, I'm hiring in somebody to be an operations person to kind of manage all the operations of the channel so I can focus more on the specific creative stuff. But in lieu of that, I'm going to... Don't take this too seriously. We all know my record on TMI, but I'm going to try to post more on TMI. I've been thinking about playing with shorts a little bit more again. Again, this might be one of the reasons why the channel has not been performing as well as I would have liked, is that I've not been doing shorts at all. And I think YouTube just kind of keeps doubling and tripling and fourpling down on shorts. So I don't like the idea of having to put a lot of effort into these shorts because they still don't make any money at all. Financially, the whole thing has never made sense to me, and that's why I've never put any effort into it. But if YouTube really is kind of like either do shorts or your channel is going to wither on the vine, then I guess I need to do something. One of the things I was thinking about doing, and one of the things I think is actually kind of cool about shorts, is that you can respond directly to comments with shorts. So like if I'm going through my comments and I want to respond to one, there's actually a little like camera button on there, and you can just press that and it opens up shorts, and you can just record a response in shorts. That I actually kind of like. That's something I always liked about TikTok, frankly, was that was, you know, you could just respond to people's comments with a video. I want to engage more with the community on my channel in one way or another. That's something that was kind of a bit of a goal for this year, was to engage more in a community way. So that seems like an interesting, fun way of doing that. And it's also not so much like production that I have to do to get those shorts out. So it hopefully will serve a few purposes. I'm still not a big fan of shorts as a you know, revenue stream or anything like that. But if it's a good way to, you know, interact with the community and stuff like that, then I'm down for it. But anyway, that's the update for today. I think I've got all my thoughts out. If you got to see the eclipse, please share down below what your experience was. As I said, I'm glad we got to experience it. As a community, as a country, whatever. It was a really cool thing, and I'm glad we all get to talk about something positive and awe-inspiring and not awfulness for just a few days out of the year. But anyway, that's it for today. Thanks you guys for being you. Because you are who you are. Because you are who you are. God, that was deep. Anyway, I never know how to close these things. You guys have a good one. Love you all, and I will see you next time.